Caitlin Clark, WNBA Rookie of the Month, packing arenas while averaging 17 and 6 assists. That's not enough to make the Olympic roster. Caitlin gets snubbed.
Okay, Caitlin Clark, the #1 pick in April's WNBA draft, who had an up-and-down start to her WNBA career, did not make the Olympic team.
What if the most talked about snub in modern sports wasn't just a bad decision? What if it was a calculated conspiracy, a deliberate act of sabotage designed not just to sideline a star, but to rewrite the future of a sport before it could even begin?
That there was a two-way situation going on involving the Olympics, and why Caitlin Clark did not make it and why Diana Taurasi did. Now, in case you don't remember, Diana Taurasi was a complete train wreck in the Olympics last year. Non-factor, including at least one DNP, did not play. And I had a theory because Taurasi is now, she got the 6th gold medal. And I had a theory that if they kept Caitlin Clark off the team and put Taurasi on, then because of age, it would prevent Caitlin Clark from ever matching or breaking Diana Taurasi's record. And I think Cheryl Reeve and the committee, my opinion, did that shit on purpose.
For months, the world was fed a simple, digestible story about why Caitlin Clark was left off the Olympic team. But behind the closed doors of USA Basketball, a much darker narrative was playing out. Now, thanks to bombshell new reporting, the official story has been exposed as a complete and utter lie, revealing a truth of politics, jealousy, and fear that is far more shocking than anyone imagined.
Caitlin Clark, who is not one of the top 12 to 15 WNBA players, did not make the Olympic team. But Christian Laettner wasn't one of the top 100 players in the NBA, and he made an Olympic team. Olympic basketball team, men's and women's, has always been subjective and very political at the end of the roster. Isaiah Thomas didn't make it. Why? Michael Jordan didn't like him. The WNBA Finals had 700,000 viewers. The draft that included Caitlin Clark had 3 times as many. Life, whether it's a relationship, business, sports, life gives you so few big waves. When they do, grab your surfboard. Women's basketball feels like it's suffering from spite or historically low self-esteem, where they want to prove that they know more than you do. It's an opportunity waste.
When USA Basketball announced its 2024 Olympic roster in early summer, a shockwave went through the sports world. The one name everyone expected to see, the one player single-handedly transforming women's basketball into must-see television, was conspicuously absent. Caitlin Clark, the rookie phenomenon selling out arenas and shattering viewership records, had been left at home.
I was in high school when I made the Olympic team in 1976. Billy Moore said, I picked you for the future of the game. If they had picked Caitlin Clark, even though she doesn't have a lot of experience, even though she missed some of the training camps, pick her, let her gain that experience. And she's going to be the one in 3, 4, 5 years who's going to be one of the leaders of that USA team. So give her that experience. She's going to put more eyeballs than ever before seen at an Olympics on women's basketball, on women's sports. The crowds are going to be bigger. It was a no-brainer, in my opinion, and the selection committee can do what they want, but I think you picked that 12th spot for the future.
The official excuses were rolled out almost immediately, sounding polished and pre-packaged. The committee cited her lack of senior national team experience and the fact that her historic college season caused her to miss key training camps. It was a clean, corporate explanation designed to shut down the conversation, but it failed spectacularly. The excuses felt hollow, a flimsy shield against a storm of public outrage.
I'm going to be rooting them on to win gold.
Caitlin Clark won't be going to the Olympics in Paris this summer. The WNBA rookie was left off the Team USA roster. 3 sources say her omission was partly over concerns about how her fans would react when she would likely be getting playing time. Caitlin, through it all, says she's good. She's going to be working towards the next Olympic team.
Honestly, no disappointment. I think it just gives you something to work for. That's a dream. Hopefully one day I can be there, and I think it's just a little more motivation. You remember that, and hopefully in 4 years, when 4 years comes back around, I can be there.
Now, Caitlin could be picked as an alternate. The roster includes Brittany Griner, Brianna Stewart, Deanna Taurasi. The Team USA women's national team has won gold at 7 straight Olympic Games dating back to 1990s.
No one was buying it. From die-hard fans to the most respected sports analysts, the decision felt wrong on a fundamental level. It defied logic, business sense, and competitive spirit. Immediately, whispers of a conspiracy started to circulate. People claimed this was a classic case of the old guard protecting its turf from a rising star, but without proof, it remained just that, a theory. That all changed when veteran journalist Christine Brennan's bombshell book, Welcome to the Jungle, hit the shelves. Brennan, a respected and tenacious reporter, had penetrated the inner circle of USA basketball, and her findings blew the lid off the entire operation. This wasn't just speculation anymore. This was sourced, inside information that confirmed everyone's worst fears. According to Brennan's explosive reporting, the selection process was a complete and total sham. One of the 12 coveted roster spots was never actually available. It had been secretly promised to the veteran Diana Taurasi as a farewell present, a guaranteed final trip to the Olympics to secure her 6th gold medal. The decision was made before any real evaluation took place. Think about the sheer audacity of that move. The Olympic Games, supposedly the pinnacle of athletic competition, were being treated like a corporate retirement party. A gold medal, the most sacred prize in sports, was being reduced to a thank you gift. This meant that the fierce competition for a spot on the world's most dominant team was, in reality, a lie. It was a race for 11 spots, not 12. The entire process was rigged from the start. This farewell gift wasn't just a nice gesture. It was an insult to every other athlete who poured their blood, sweat, and tears into earning a spot on that team. It told them that their current performance, their dedication, and their dreams were less important than giving a past her prime legend a ceremonious send-off. To truly understand how outrageous this gift was, you just have to look at the cold, hard facts on the court at that time. Caitlin Clark was not just a rookie, she was a basketball supernova. She was putting up historic numbers, averaging nearly 17 points, 5 rebounds, and over 6 assists per game, all while facing unprecedented defensive pressure every single night. More importantly, she was the Caitlin Clark effect. She was the engine driving the sport's newfound popularity. The WNBA draft, headlined by her, drew 3 times more viewers than the league's own championship finals the previous year. Her regular season games were setting attendance and viewership records for networks. She was a cultural and financial phenomenon, the likes of which women's basketball had never seen. On the complete opposite end of the spectrum was Diana Taurasi. The legendary player was visibly a shell of her former self. Her statistics told a grim story of decline. She was averaging single-digit points. Her shooting percentages had plummeted, and the eye test was even worse. She often looked a step slow, struggling to keep up with the pace and athleticism of the modern game. From a pure basketball standpoint, there was no comparison. Clark was the present and the future, a dynamic force of nature. Taurasi was a living monument to the past, but the selection committee deliberately chose the past over the future, and the primary reason they did is where this story moves from infuriating to just plain pathetic. While the farewell gift was the mechanism, the motive behind excluding Clark was rooted in pure, unadulterated cowardice. Brennan's book reveals that the selection committee was terrified of Caitlin Clark's enormous and passionate fan base. They were paralyzed by the fear of what might happen on social media if Clark made the team, but, as is common for rookies, received limited playing time. They reportedly feared a non-stop SHT show of criticism from Caitlin's crazies online. They envisioned an endless stream of angry posts and negative articles questioning the coach's decisions. The committee decided that it was simply easier to leave the most popular player in the world off the team entirely than to deal with the potential for mean tweets and Instagram comments. Let that sink in for a moment. An Olympic committee, a body tasked with assembling the absolute best team to represent the United States and win a gold medal on the world stage, made a critical roster decision based on their fear of online trolls. They willingly made their team worse to avoid having their feelings hurt by strangers on the internet. This is a level of unprofessionalism that is almost impossible to comprehend. Imagine the Los Angeles Lakers benching a star player because they were worried about social media backlash. It's unthinkable. It reveals a deep-seated insecurity and a shocking lack of leadership at the very top of the sport. In their desperate attempt to avoid a small fire, they poured gasoline on themselves and lit a match, creating a nuclear explosion of criticism that has permanently damaged their credibility. But their fear of social media wasn't even the most cynical part of this entire plan. This is where the conspiracy deepens and transforms into a calculated legacy heist. This was never just about the 2024 Paris Olympics. It was about controlling the history books for decades to come. By gifting Diana Taurasi that final roster spot, they all but guaranteed she would win her 6th Olympic gold medal, an all-time record for a basketball player. For Caitlin Clark or any player in the future to even match that record, they would have to be selected for every single Olympic team for the next 24 years, winning gold each time and playing into their mid-40s. It's a practically impossible feat. By keeping Clark off the 2024 team, the committee didn't just snub her for one tournament, they strategically and deliberately gatekept the annals of history. They built an insurmountable wall around Taurasi's legacy, ensuring the old guard's records would remain untouchable. It was a calculated move to handicap the future in order to forever glorify the past. If this sounds like a plot from a political thriller, it's because this kind of backroom dealing is woven into the very fabric of USA basketball. This wasn't their first rodeo with letting personal politics corrupt the selection process. The most famous example, of course, is the legendary 1992 Dream Team. Isaiah Thomas, arguably the best point guard in the world at the time, was famously and controversially left off the team. It was an open secret in the basketball world that his bitter rivalry with Michael Jordan was the real reason. Jordan allegedly made it known he wouldn't play if Thomas was on the team, and the committee caved to their superstar. They chose star power politics over pure merit then, and they did it again with Clark and Taurasi. This isn't a bug in the system. It's a feature of an organization that has long valued personal relationships over fair competition. The aftermath of the decision played out exactly as anyone with eyes could have predicted. In Paris, Diana Taurasi was a ghost. She was a non-factor, barely seeing meaningful minutes, and becoming a complete afterthought in the team's dominant gold medal run. Her presence on the roster was a wasted spot, a living confirmation of the flawed and biased selection process. And what did Caitlin Clark do? After being publicly humiliated, she took the high road. She didn't lash out. She simply said it would give her more motivation. She used the Olympic break to rest, recover from a grueling rookie start, and refine her game. Then she returned for the second half of the WNBA season and went on an absolute tear, playing with a controlled fury and putting up even more incredible numbers. Her performance was a silent, powerful, and definitive rebuttal to every single person on that committee. So the conspiracy was real all along, a predetermined retirement gift for a fading star, a cowardly decision driven by the fear of online criticism, and a cynical ploy to rig the history books for a generation. The committee thought they were protecting the sport's sacred traditions, but all they did was expose themselves as insecure gatekeepers, more concerned with politics than performance. They failed the sport, they failed the fans, and they failed the very idea of what the Olympics are supposed to represent. They thought they were controlling the narrative, but in the end, they may have just created their own worst nightmare, a generational legend with an unbreakable will and a permanent score to settle.